Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. When Christian Wilkins left the Miami Dolphins in free agency last offseason, the headlines exploded. A former first-round pick, Wilkins had become a fan favorite and a vocal leader on and off the field. His departure to the Las Vegas Raiders on a massive 4-year, $110 million deal left a gaping hole in the heart of Miami's defensive line. It was a move that stung deeply, not just because of his talent, but because of what he symbolized to the Dolphins franchise. Yet as the dust settled and the 2024 season unfolded, a familiar face quietly stepped into the spotlight. Zach Sieler, often overlooked and underappreciated, didn't just fill in for Wilkins. He thrived. He didn't complain, didn't demand the spotlight. Instead, he went to work, play after play, doing the dirty jobs in the trenches that don't always make highlight reels, but win football games. Sieler isn't a household name. He's not showing up in flashy commercials or trending on Twitter after each game. But for those who watch closely, especially in Miami, his impact is undeniable. And now, finally, a national outlet is giving him the credit he's long deserved. Pro Football Focus recently named Zach Sieler the most underrated player on the Miami Dolphins roster. It's a recognition that's both overdue and completely accurate. Sieler's performance over the past 2 seasons has been nothing short of elite, even if it hasn't come with the same fanfare as other stars. PFF highlighted his consistency, toughness, and efficiency, particularly noting his 71.5 pass rush grade from 2024, which ranked 24th among interior defensive linemen. That alone is impressive, but it gets even better. Here's where things get really interesting. Sieler didn't just post good grades. He posted production, real measurable results. In 2024, he logged 10 sacks. That number might seem solid, but not extraordinary, until you realize he achieved it on 102 fewer pass rushing snaps than the previous year. In 2023, with Wilkins still next to him demanding attention, Sieler hit double-digit sacks with 573 snaps. In 2024, with no Wilkins and more pressure on his shoulders, he did it again, but in just 471 pass rushing opportunities. That kind of efficiency is rare, especially for an interior defensive lineman. Sieler didn't just maintain his performance. Under increased pressure, he improved it, and that's the mark of a truly elite player. And let's talk about the context here. Playing in the trenches in the NFL is brutal. Is where the biggest, strongest, and meanest players collide on every down. Most defensive tackles don't sniff 10 sacks in a season, even with a full workload and star teammates beside them. For Sieler to do it back-to-back years, once with a Pro Bowl caliber partner in Wilkins and once without him, speaks volumes about his skill set. It's not just about effort. Sieler has refined his technique, sharpened his instincts, and become a master at creating pressure from the inside. That's a rare gift, and one the Dolphins clearly recognized when they gave him a 3-year, $38.65 million extension before the 2023 season. That deal is now looking like an absolute bargain. Pro Football Focus also pointed out that Sieler ranked tied for 11th in overall grade at his position last year, with a career second-best mark of 78.9. Again, these aren't flashy numbers, but they're the kind of grades that show a player who wins his battles consistently. And winning consistently is exactly what Sieler has done since joining Miami in 2019. He doesn't get blown off the ball. He doesn't disappear in big moments. In fact, he often seems to rise when the lights shine brightest. While others get the hype, Sieler does the work. And for a team that lost a cornerstone like Wilkins, having someone like that step up was nothing short of crucial for the Dolphins' defense to stay afloat. Now, here's something that Dolphins fans already know, but the rest of the league needs to understand. Zach Sieler is the kind of player every team wants, but few teams have. He's gritty. He's dependable. He shows up every Sunday ready to go to war in the trenches. And he's not just productive, he's passionate. You can see it in the way he plays. He brings energy. He brings fire. He's not the loudest guy in the locker room, but his impact is deafening on the field. It's that kind of player who becomes a glue guy, a cornerstone that doesn't need headlines to lead. That's who Sieler has become for Miami, and that's why this recognition from PFF matters. And it's about time he gets it. Because while fans in South Florida have been singing his praises, the national spotlight has often missed him entirely. That's the curse of being underrated. It doesn't mean you're not great, it means people haven't been paying attention. Well, now they are. With national analysts finally starting to take note, Sieler's reputation is beginning to catch up with his performance. But make no mistake, he's not doing it for the clout. He's doing it because he loves the game and he wants to win. That mentality is what sets him apart. And it's a big reason why Miami's defense has remained dangerous, even in the wake of Wilkins' departure. There's also a lesson here about team building and scouting. Sieler was originally a 7th round pick by the Ravens and joined the Dolphins via waivers. He wasn't supposed to be a star. He wasn't supposed to anchor a defensive front. But through development, coaching, and his own relentless drive, he's carved out a role that few expected. That's a testament not just to him, but to the Dolphins' ability to find and cultivate talent in places where other teams aren't looking. And now, with Sieler locked up through 2026, Miami has a foundational piece in place. One who plays like a star, gets paid like a solid starter, and delivers like an all-pro. As we look ahead to the 2025 season, the expectations for the Dolphins are high. They've got talent across the roster, explosive weapons on offense, and a defense that, despite some changes, still has the potential to be elite. And in the middle of it all will be Zach Sieler, quietly doing his job, beating double teams, pressuring quarterbacks, and making life miserable for opposing offenses. He may never be the most talked about name in the league, but ask anyone in that Dolphins locker room or any offensive lineman who's had to block him, and they'll tell you exactly how valuable he is. Miami didn't just survive the loss of Christian Wilkins. Thanks to Zach Sieler, they found a new anchor. So here's to Zach Sieler, finally getting some of the love he deserves. It might have taken longer than it should have, but the football world is starting to catch on. He's not just underrated, he's underappreciated, undervalued, and underestimated. And that's exactly how he likes it. Because while the noise surrounds other players, Sieler is focused on the only thing that really matters: getting better, playing hard, and helping his team win. And if he keeps putting up double-digit sacks from the inside, trust me, it won't be long before he's underrated no more. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments, what's your take on the Fins this week? Alright folks, buckle up because the NFL offseason rumor mill just exploded in a way nobody saw coming. Or maybe we should have, if we read the tea leaves right. Word on the street is that the Miami Dolphins are in serious talks to trade their all-pro cornerback Jalen Ramsey to the Los Angeles Rams in exchange for none other than quarterback Matthew Stafford. Yeah, you heard that right. This isn't a joke or a Madden trade simulator gone wild. This is real deal, behind closed doors. NFL wheeling and dealing. Now, before we dive into how this even makes sense, or if it makes sense, we gotta talk about the two stars involved. On one side, you've got Ramsey, still one of the most feared shutdown corners in the league, even with injury setbacks. On the other, you've got Stafford, a Super Bowl champion QB with a cannon arm, but fresh off a disappointing, injury-hampered season. So what's really going on here? Let's start with Ramsey. This dude has been a game changer since he entered the league. A generational corner, fiery, physical, and smart as hell. But here's the thing. His 2023 campaign with the Dolphins was a mixed bag. He came in hurt, came back strong, and reminded everyone why he's still a top-tier defensive back. Miami took a gamble trading for him, and while they got sparks of brilliance, they never really got to see the full package over a complete season. So now, fast forward to this offseason, and what are we hearing? That Ramsey might be on the move again, but this time, back to LA, where he already made his mark, helped them win a Super Bowl, and arguably had the best years of his career. The idea of him returning to the Rams, where he's loved, where he thrives in that defensive scheme, suddenly doesn't sound so far-fetched. But why would Miami give him up? That's where Matthew Stafford comes in. The Dolphins, for all their electric offense, still haven't quite nailed the quarterback situation. Tua Tagovailoa has had moments, big ones, don't get me wrong, but there are lingering concerns about his durability, long-term upside, and ability to lead Miami deep into the postseason. Enter Stafford, a proven veteran, one of the toughest signal callers in the league, and someone who, if healthy, immediately raises the ceiling of any team he joins. Stafford brings poise, arm talent, and a championship mentality. something Miami hasn't had under center in a very long time. So if this rumor has legs, it's clear the Dolphins are looking to cash in one of their biggest assets on defense to finally stabilize the most important position in football. And that might be a price they're willing to pay if they believe. Stafford can push them over the edge. But wait, what does this mean for the Rams? They already have Stafford, or at least they did. Now trading him means the Rams are either hitting the reset button hard or pivoting toward a younger quarterback option, maybe in the draft or via another move. And bringing back Ramsey, a player they know intimately, could be part of retooling their identity on defense. We know how much Sean McVay and Les Snead value star power. Ramsey would walk back into that building with leadership, swag, and a deep understanding of the system. Plus, the Rams defense needs a face again. Aaron Donald just retired, and Jalen could step right back into that alpha role, giving the team and the fans a familiar name to rally behind. So in a way, it's not just about the X's and O's. It's about resetting the culture post-Donald and reestablishing an identity around a proven leader. Now, let's talk about the optics. Because, man, this is going to get people talking. Ramsey being traded again? That's already a headline. Stafford potentially being dealt. That's a whole other level of controversy. For fans of both teams, this is the kind of shakeup that either ignites hope or sends them into panic mode. Dolphins fans might be split. Some still believe in Tua, while others are thirsty for a veteran presence. Meanwhile, Rams fans might be asking, why now? Is Stafford really done in LA? Or is this just another power play by a front office known for going big, even when it seems crazy? And you know what? Crazy might just be what both teams need. The AFC East is stacked. The NFC West is wide open. These franchises aren't strangers to bold moves, and if they believe this trade is their ticket back to contention, they'll pull the trigger without blinking. Of course, there's the money side of this. Stafford's contract isn't exactly cheap, and Ramsey doesn't come with a discount either. The financial gymnastics required to make this deal work would be complex, but not impossible, especially for front offices that have shown they're willing to push cap boundaries. Miami might be betting that adding Stafford now gives them a Super Bowl window before Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle get too expensive to keep together. And for the Rams, shedding Stafford's deal and bringing in a known quantity like Ramsey could set them up for a mini rebuild without totally tearing things down. But make no mistake, this trade would send shockwaves through the league, not just for the star power involved, but because of what it signals about each team's future. A direction. This isn't just a football move, it's a franchise-altering one. Let's not overlook the locker room dynamics either. Ramsey is one of those guys who brings energy, edge, and leadership. He's not just a playmaker, he's a personality. Going back to LA would feel like a homecoming, and you can bet that defense would rally around him instantly. For the Dolphins, bringing in Stafford could command a whole new level of respect and intensity. He's a guy who's been through the grind, won it all, and knows what it takes. Players respond to that. And maybe, just maybe, this is Miami's way of saying, we're not here to be flashy. We're here to win now. If this deal happens, it reshapes both locker rooms overnight and sets the tone for what each team expects in 2025 and beyond. And let's be honest, drama aside, we live for this kind of chaos in the offseason. And what about the ripple effect across the league? You better believe other GMs are watching this closely. A deal like this can reset market values for quarterbacks and defensive backs alike. Suddenly, teams who are holding on to draft capital or cap space might start making calls. If the Rams are truly moving off Stafford, does that mean they're targeting someone in the draft? Is Miami ready to make one? Last big push before their cap situation tightens. These aren't just idle rumors. They're strategic chess moves. And if this one domino falls, you can expect several others to follow. Quarterback-needy teams might get desperate. Defensive units might reshuffle. This is the kind of potential trade that sends ripple effects from New York to San Francisco. So if you thought the offseason was going to be quiet, think again. The NFL doesn't sleep, and neither do these front offices. Let's circle back to the emotional element for a second. For Jalen Ramsey, this would be more than just another trade. He was part of a championship team in LA. He left on good terms. Going back would be a full circle moment, a chance to chase more rings and rewrite a new chapter with a franchise that knows how to win. For Stafford, it's about legacy. He already earned his ring, but does he have one more run in him? Can he stay healthy and take a Dolphins team that's this close to greatness all the way to the top? Both players have something to prove. Ramsey, that he's still elite. Stafford, that he's not done. And if this trade happens, it gives both of them that shot. Sports are at their best when they mix competition with emotion. And this deal has both in spades. What now? Well, nothing is official yet. This is still in the rumor category. But where there's smoke, there's usually fire, especially in today's NFL, where nothing stays quiet for long. If this deal becomes real, you'll be hearing about it nonstop. Until then, we're left to speculate, analyze, and argue, and honestly, that's half the fun. Could Ramsey really be headed back to the Rams? Is Stafford about to take his talents to South Beach? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, this offseason just got a whole lot more interesting. So hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Would you pull the trigger on this trade? Who wins? Who loses? I want to hear it all. Until next time, this is your guy bringing you the hottest takes in football. Peace. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.